Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. What you are watching right here, right now, is Comics Today. This is a show that we do every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time to celebrate New Comic Book Day, arguably the best day of the week. It is Hump Day, and it is also New Comic Book Day. And I am excited to be here for several different reasons. First and foremost, I am going to have a friend on the channel here very shortly, Comics with Bueller. And if you have never watched this show before, typically we have a guest or two on the Wednesday show to talk about some things, some news and current events and things like that to maybe help me make sense of some things that I don't quite understand. But today it is going to be a little bit of a reflective celebration. And I say that because this month there are 3 YouTubers that are celebrating their 3rd anniversary. There is Comic Tom, Comics with Bueller, and then myself. And so I'm going to have Bueller on in just a few minutes, and we are going to pontificate over the last 3 years, things that we've learned, things that we've observed, key takeaways, and all of that good stuff. And then along the way, we're also going to be talking about some other news and current events, things that are actually top of mind for me that have been discussed on the channel in the past. We are going to revisit several topics. And what we always do on this show is we typically start things off with giving a shout out to those individuals that were able to make it to their local comic shop and or picked up some books. And we do this to kind of acknowledge that this is New Comic Book Day. So we like to talk about what came out, what people picked up, what we should put on the top of our pile. So if you are in the live stream right now and you hit up your LCS, give me a shout out of the books that you picked up. If you picked up a lot, just give me the high level. Give me the Cliff Notes version. And if you read something that was worth a read, definitely let us know that. And I will tell you, there are some days when it is easier to pull this show together than others. Today has been a little bit of a challenge. I am sweating as I have been running up and down the stairs trying to bathe my children to get ready for the show. So if you see my my forehead glistening, just recognize that yes, I have children. One thing that I want to say is that I did not hit the local comic shop today. I spent what free time I had working on my taxes. And so I was not able to make it to the local comic shop today, but I hope to be able to make it there tomorrow. But I do have a new comic that was sent to me by Brett Hess. And Brett Hess has secured his first comic book cover. I actually did a live stream briefly, I want to say it was yesterday, showing this book along with some other things that I picked up from Jim Mint. But again, huge shout out to my man, Brett Hess, who has secured his first cover. I think this is a book from Aftershock, and I cannot remember the title of the book off the top of my head, but I will probably release that Twitch stream here on YouTube at some point. You guys will be able to see and hear a little bit more about this one. But again, a huge shout out to Brett Hess. His website, or not his website, but his Instagram, if you want to check him out, is Art of Brett Hess, BRETTHESS, Art of Brett Hess. He has been a subscriber of the channel for a very, very long time. So shout out to Brett Hess for securing his first cover. And again, the guy has a lot more talent than what it is that I actually have. So let me go to the chat. And what is this? Bradley says, looking forward to that Radiant Black. We talked about that Radiant Black a couple of weeks ago. And you know what? It's one of those things I talked about and failed to secure a copy myself. I spent too much time talking about it, didn't even grab one. But hopefully you guys were able to pick it up. Joey, the stunt master, said, picked up Radiant Black, but I haven't been able to read it yet. Brother, you are closer to perfection than I, because I do not even have a copy of that book. But fingers crossed I may be able to snag one. Philip said he picked up every issue of, I don't know what FS is. That's an abbreviation for something. I don't know what that is. And the Star Wars Insider magazine. Regardless of whether I know what it is, Philip, congratulations to you, brother. Anytime you can pick up something solid, I will salute you for that. Chuck picked up a couple of things: Sword, Taskmaster, Vader, and the Thunderbolts, he says, are all great things. That's what's up. Matt Wood says, got gung ho to Sexy Beast. Man, I read Sexy Beast 1 and it was pretty darn good. I will tell you that. I have not read issue 2, of course, because I haven't been to the LCS, but gung ho, Sexy Beast. Ooh, that is not for children. That is not for children. Scrolling through, Squirrel Man said Reggie should do a retro review of his first recording. No, because that would be painful for everybody. So we're not going to do that. Public embarrassment is not something that I do well. I cringe when I watch those old videos. Como is in the house. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Scrolling through. John is a guy with poor taste. He clearly has some poor taste right here, talking about Simply the Best. I don't know. I don't know about that. L. Smith picked up some stuff. Daredevil 27, Eternals 2, Gung Ho, Sexy Beast issues 2, Wolverine Black, White, and Red, and a couple of other things. That's what's up. L. Smith, he got a nice stack over there. My man Wesley, how you doing, brother? He said he picked up Eternals. That's what's up. I read issue number 1. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to reading the next one right there. Scrolling through the comments here, scrolling down now because I was up at the top. Hit the pause button for the Slab Dragon. TJ is in the house. It's good to see you, my friend. I actually was doing my taxes today, TJ, and I made a donation to one of the fundraisers that you did at some point in 2020. And I was literally thinking about you as I was processing my taxes not that long ago. So it is good to see you here, my friend. Jerry's talking about the old kitchen videos. We are not watching kitchen videos. So for those that do not know, a lot of my early recordings were actually done in the kitchen with one of my newborn children 6 feet from me on one side, the stove off to the other side. It was rocky. It was rocky, but we survived. We survived. Doug says he's waiting for his $2,000 Berserker. What was funny is that Doug wrote this really wonderful post that is available on RegieCollects.com, in which he talks about all the things that you can actually buy for $2,000 instead of Berserk issue number 1. And what was funny is that as I was putting it up on the website, I thought maybe I should put a disclaimer here just in case Ross Ritchie sees it. Because, I like Ross. And I was like, I don't want trouble, but I also don't want to sell out my boy, Doug. So I put it up. And sure enough, like towards the end of the first day, Ross Ritchie saw it, commented on it. And then he, Doug, and I had a nice little back and forth over the course of the next 24 hours or so, all in good fun. And that's one of those things when you have a CEO and a publisher that is part of the comic book community, and a guy that is actually on social media and responding to questions and comments, he's gonna see it. And so thankfully he took it in the right way, because Ross is a good guy. Brandon is a man of refined taste. Brandon has refined taste, unlike that person that just gave the shout out to Bueller. Let's just be super clear. There we go. I knew somebody would do it. Brett Hess's cover. There we go. So let's show the cover one more time. Shout out to my man Brett Hess, a longtime subscriber of the channel, hooked up, got his first variant cover. He did the artwork for this thing, and again, has a lot more talent than I. Let me get this off the screen. No offense, Christopher, but Brett Hess is probably going to post this up on his social media. There we go. So we had to make sure we got the good facial expression in there instead of, which is what I get a lot of times when people snap photos. Scrolling through, no, he is not really getting it. I don't think he is getting it, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong up in here. Scrolling through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Bronze Age is basically posing a question to Bueller. He says, what comics would you buy for $2K? Knowing Bueller, he'd buy a bunch of 50-cent books. Knowing him, he'd be like, 50 cents, I'm going to spread it around and buy as many books as I can get, because that's just how Bueller does it. What is this? Reggie paying taxes like brother. If I could pay $750 and keep it moving, my friend, I absolutely would, but I don't think that is going to be my plight. I don't think that that's going to be my plight at all. But it would be nice, just in case the IRS is listening, like Ross Ritchie. Scrolling through some of the comments here, brother, and I clicked on the wrong one. We are just having fun. And hopefully everybody understands that we are literally having a lot of fun. And if I'm sarcastic and stuff like that, it is all in good fun. So Milt clearly recognizes quality right there. Giving another shout out to my man Brett Hess. He even spelled the name correctly. That is what's up. Scrolling through, Daniel says he read Radiant Black about 30 minutes ago. Excellent read, he says. That's what's up. That's what's up. Doug. So I said that Doug wasn't going to get the Berserker. And now it's been confirmed. It is now official. He says that he's way too cheap. And what's funny is that, and I don't know about Doug, but there are books that I will buy where I'm like, it is worth every single penny and it'll be expensive. And then there are other books I look at and I'm like, nope, I can't do it. I'm just too cheap. And it's funny how one's mind actually works and justifies things in one sense, but not in the other. And I guess that is just the nature of being human, if you will. So I see that in the green room, our guest has arrived. He is wearing his usual attire, and he knows how to get dressed up for the big show. But again, I am going to introduce here in just a hot second, Comics with Bueller, a guy that I have gotten to know pretty darn well over the last couple of years. We started our channels roughly around the same time, and he has done and is doing some incredible things, just like the other person that we share an anniversary with, that being Comic Tom. So with all of that said, as Bueller gets himself nice and presentable there, he's adjusting the vest as we speak. Bueller, welcome to the show.
Man, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I've never been this nervous in the last 3 years.
Whatever.
I'm not kidding, man. I'm ready to pontificate all over the place with you. You said you were sweating, man. I'm sweating bullets.
Brother, my kids are a handful because they have processes, right? Like I have to get the colored pellets all lined up and to make sure that there's a diverse color palette for them and that each one gets the same amount, because they throw them in the tub to change the color of the water. And then it's like trying to balance the temperatures. One likes it a little hotter, one likes it's their handful.
As long as it's not yellow, it's okay.
Well, we did have some yellow water earlier today. Because from the pellets that we put in the water, they turn them yellow, not any other kind of yellow thing.
We'll go with that.
We have to clean it up, man. So how are you doing, brother? It is good to see you, man.
I'm doing good, man. Today is actually my 3-year anniversary, the 10th. Yours is like 2 days on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. You were doing your first video, you had your shirt off, which was like 9 years ago, which was not a comic book. I don't think it was a comic book video. If it was a very bizarre comic book video.
It was not a comic book video. It was a bodybuilding video, I think. Yeah, and I don't even remember what that video was, but I was probably shirtless. You are probably correct, sir.
I'm absolutely correct. It's on my saved playlist.
So it is definitely good to see you. And I think that this is actually the first time that you have been on my show. I think we've done some live shows, but I don't think that I've actually had you on my show as a guest. Is that correct?
That is correct. We've done some few shows on my channel a few times, and we've done some shows on other people's channels.
And then we did Tom's show once, right?
Yeah, we've done Tom's show one time, and we did that one show for JD. And remember, he left, and me and you were just sitting there for like 5 minutes. It was his very first live show. We're just
what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen JD. I haven't seen JD in a while, man. Yeah, I've got to reach out to him and see how he's doing.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, man. Things have changed tremendously, and that is part of what I want to talk about. As I was reflecting upon, bringing you on the show, I wanted to talk about something that was different, right? And so that's why I kind of anchored to this idea of it being our anniversary. And coincidentally, you were on the show on your actual 3rd year anniversary, which I think is kind of cool. So to that point, as you reflect back over the last 3 years, my question to you is what are some things that you are most proud of? And it doesn't necessarily have to be about your channel per se versus your collection or something like that. But what are some things that you are most proud of as you think about the last 3 years being in this hobby?
Honestly, if I really have to think about it, the thing I'm most proud of is that my family is proud of me. And I think that's probably the most thing, because 3 years ago, before I started doing the YouTube, you know, and I've talked about this many times, I really wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting at home, you know, watching shirtless Regie videos, and you know, to each their own, right? But anyway, seriously, I was just sitting at home doing nothing, and just every day was exactly the same. You know, I was in a different part of my life than you are. I mean, we're pretty much the same age, but you have younger kids. My kids are older; they're out of the house doing their own thing.
That's nice.
I'm by myself, you know, sitting on the couch, and every day I don't even know what day it is. It's like, what day of the week is it? Every day looks the same. I'm not really working, and just decided to, you know, go and get back into a hobby that I enjoyed when I was younger. And then that brought me to making videos on YouTube, and it gave me a direction to go and a reason to wake up in the morning and do things, you know, to where I didn't have that for a while. And I don't mind saying this, but I was somewhat of a burden to my family at the time, because, you know, they're worried about me and, you know, supporting me or whatnot, you know. And so when I look back over 3 years at everything that I've accomplished doing this and kind of making my mark and putting a stamp on something that I can be proud of, the thing that means the most to me is that my family is proud of me. My kids are proud of me. My mom, my dad, they're proud of me. And I couldn't say that 3 years ago. And now today I can say that. And it feels pretty good when you have that love of your family, and you know they're not, you know that they really mean it. You know, they're not just saying that, they really mean it. They've been there through the hard times, and they see the good times now and my attitude towards stuff, and they see me being happy and sharing that with thousands and thousands of people on a daily basis. It's just awesome. So I mean, that's what I'm most proud of, that I bring them happiness, you know, and they don't have to worry about me anymore. Like the second thing I'm most proud of is just getting to talk about comics for a living. I mean, come on. I mean, it's like the perfect thing.
There are worse jobs, my friend. There are worse jobs.
What do you do? Well, I talk about comics on the internet. That's it. Like, yeah, that's it. You know,
and it's awesome.
Yeah. You know, that's a pretty good job. I go, yeah, it's a pretty good job. So, you know,
it's good work if you can get it, you know?
Exactly. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I'm proud of. You know, I mean, there's been a lot of milestone things that have come up. You know, you're in the same boat. You had your very first variant comic last year. You know, did you ever think you'd have your very own Regie Collects variant?
Brother, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think I was going to make it past like the first 5 videos, to be honest.
I remember
for me, it was like, I did it, and I was like, well, let's see if anybody actually watches it. You know, I wasn't even thinking about some of the stuff that's happened, which is fantastic. You know,
it's just, I think we were all in the same boat where I just kind of all steamrolled all at once. I think we were all about 3 months into it, and all of a sudden, like yourself, me, and Tom, all of a sudden people started watching. We started getting a nice audience and a following, and it was like, okay, we need to take the time and you know, give something back to our audience who are giving us their time.
Yes,
and that's when you kind of sit back and realize, okay, we got to take this a little bit more seriously. I got to call my buddy Reggie and say, what the hell are we doing? You know,
because we do a lot of that. I mean, we don't do it as much now, but we used to do a lot more. But I will tell you, brother, there was a lot in that response that you just gave, which I think is fantastic. I ask people questions, and a lot of times I don't really know what they're going to say. You know, I have some idea because I have to plan, right? But I'm always I always have to pause when someone gives an unexpected answer that is really, really good, right? Because to be honest, a lot of what motivates me in my life is to make sure that my parents and my family are proud of what I've done. So what you just said resonates with me tremendously, you know? So I definitely dig that. And again, I did not expect you to give that answer. But I think to your point, there's a lot of things that one can be proud of, but being proud of one's, you know, how your family's looking at you, I think is really fantastic, to be honest with you.
It definitely means the world to me. You know, I look at all the kindness that my family has given my way during my low points in my life. And it's like, am I ever going to have the possibility to kind of, you know, pay them back, or to changed their mind as far as, oh, we're worried about him or whatnot, and here 3 years later, they don't have that worry. That's not in their. I mean, they worry. Their family and parent, we all worry about family and stuff, but you know what I mean. It's like man, he's happy. He's doing what he likes. He's making a living. He's doing stuff that he enjoys. Waking up in the morning. He's gonna be okay.
You know what's crazy about this whole thing is that you probably get these similar type of messages that I get, where people will share with you how much your content actually means to them and how much your content has actually helped them through difficult times. So it's almost like peer-to-peer counseling in some respect, right? You needed something to motivate you. You found it in the form of comics and in the form of these videos. And you are communicating to people that also need something to maybe escape something that they're going through in their personal life. And it's just this thing that kind of feeds upon itself. Would you agree with that idea? Absolutely.
I've gotten many messages, kind of what you just said, and I've shared them with like my family. Like I'll go to my sister. I go, my sister Kim. I go, read this, and then she's like, oh my god, because of comics.
Yes.
I go, trust me, there is a connection with people in their comic books, and when people talk about comics, it's a hobby that means something. It's not just Hot Wheels or Beanie Babies. There's a much more deeper connection to comics. And people who really enjoy comic books, they're so invested in them. And if you can bring that out of something that they used to enjoy doing, okay, and that's my goal, is to say, hey, come watch my video. I know you used to collect comics back in the 80s and the 90s. Now's the time to come back and do it again.
Remember that feeling.
Exactly.
That feeling is still here waiting for you, you know? I mean, brother, I'll be honest with you. I've received some messages from people that have left me in this chair with a tear in my eye, where I'm like, wow, like I had no clue that people, I mean, you have a feeling that people have tough lives, but then when they share it with you and help you to understand what you put out there, the good energy, the positive things, right? That remember the feeling from the 80s and the 90s, that nostalgic feeling actually is helping people. It's wonderful. It really is.
I do get a little nervous on what to say back, because it's like,
yes,
it's not an easy thing, especially when people tend to, divulge themselves and kind of pour their heart out and stuff. It's like, you really want to make sure you say the right thing, and you take it to heart. I do take it to heart, but it's like, I never really anticipated that. That's an aspect of this I didn't really anticipate. It's like, I anticipate, hey, I really enjoy your video. Thanks for doing them. It helps me out a lot.
That was a cool book.
The stuff that you're talking about with the extra layers, and hey, this past year has been horrible. I've been stuck at home. The COVID thing sucks. And I got back into comics. I saw your videos. It really helped me out. And, you don't know how much it meant to me. And getting stuff like that is just like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Right.
I'm making a difference. So,
but to your point, you just can't be like, good stuff, bro, or thanks for the comment, or thank you for, like, I've actually set the phone down a couple of times and walked in the other room. Like, I need to organize my thoughts so that I can respond in a comprehensive manner, in an appropriate manner, to this person that just said whatever it is that they said to me. Versus, again, like that quick responsive, thanks for the comment, or I appreciate you, that kind of stuff. There are some that require more work.
Yeah. When I was in Florida in December for that Comic-Con.
Oh, I remember. And I was trying to get you on the show.
Oh yeah, that's right. And but I remember I was there, and it was such a great thing because for one, my hat's off to the convention. They did everything they needed to do to make it safe for everyone, and I was a little worried about that, to be totally honest. But I think Florida kind of gets a bad rap for the most part, because when I was there, it was totally opposite from what I saw on the news. Everyone had masks on. Every place I went to took my temperature. Everything required masks. So I mean, you hear the news and they kind of say the opposite. But anyway, as I'm there and I'm a guest of the show, I met many of people that watched the Comics with Bueller channel, and many people came up and said hello and said how much they enjoyed it. And there was one gentleman, he probably came up 6 or 7 times throughout the day. And like the last time he came up and he was leaving, he actually like broke out in tears. And he's like, and just kind of the very same thing what you're talking about. He's like, man, I just want you to know how much you mean to me, and how much I have enjoyed getting back into comics or loving comics again and listening to your coffee video and stuff like that. And I was like, to hell with the social distance, man. Give me a hug, dude. I was like, because it made me tear up as well. Because I was like, there's people on the other end. The people watching right now, they're taking their time to watch us right now. And we have a responsibility to them to, make something that they enjoy. We enjoy it. So it's easy. I look at it's easy to do. So because we enjoy what we're doing. So.
So you've touched on something a couple of times, and I want to circle back to it to make sure that I can get a comprehensive response on this, right? But one of the things that you've alluded to is that there has to be an exchange of some sort, right? So people are giving up time in exchange for something of value, right? When did you have that epiphany that there had to be that exchange of something you are giving them for the time that they are spending watching you in that vest?
I just kind of looked and saw what was out there, and I was watching videos, and I was like, okay, what can I do? And I remember this, and Brian's a friend of mine from Simple Man's Comics, okay? And he was doing a video similar to the weekly preview video for all the books, and very much similar video. But in his video, it was his weekly picks and all this stuff, and he showed all the videos. And then he said one time in the video, he goes, well, I'm not really looking forward to that one. And I'm like, well, if they're your weekly picks, then why would you put that in your video? And then I said, I go, they're not really his weekly picks. He's just showing all the stuff he can find. So I was like, I can do that. I can go and find stuff and then more things that aren't being shown, like the store exclusives or the ratio variants and all the other third-party publishers or independent publishers. And I said, if I can take the time to put that together and put that out on a weekly basis with just the more stuff you can find. It's not my weekly picks. It's just everything that's coming out. It's just everything that you can find. Then I knew that would add value. And that video is kind of the catalyst for the channel to where I've been doing that one for 3 years. It's the most watched preview video. We average anywhere from 8,000 to 11,000 views on that video every week. And it's only good for a week. Nobody goes back and watches it after that.
Right.
But, and that adds value. That is a video that provides something to people. That will provide people to say, oh, this is what's coming out. I have a week of notice. I can go to my comic shop. I can get it. And then I was like, okay, so I have that. That's established. Every week it garners more viewers and more subscribers. How do I build around that video? How do I build? Okay. Well, I make a video where I do have my picks, where the ones I really enjoy and I want to get and I want to read. So I make that video. So that adds value. And then I come up with some stupid idea about drinking coffee and wearing a vest. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do that video.
Yep.
Let's sit there and drink some coffee and wear a vest, and we'll talk about some stuff or whatnot. And nobody watched it. I mean, hardly anybody watched it when I started doing it. And nobody started watching it until like the 50th episode. I mean, I got maybe 1,000 views, and that's great, and stuff like that. But right now it gets 7, 8, 9,000 views, so it's much bigger audience. And it just added value. The coffee video, when I added my co-host Bob, it was like two guys hanging out having a conversation about comic books,
and people had an opportunity to listen in on that, like at a comic shop.
Exactly. And who doesn't like doing that?
We all do.
Exactly.
Even if you're in the other aisle, you're still listening to the guys over at the front counter that are going back and forth about whatever, so it's very much reminiscent of that.
Yeah, they're over at the counter like, hey, did you watch that Regie Collects video yesterday?
I just saw a couple of super chats pop in here, so definitely give a huge shout out to those people that dropped the super chats. One of the other questions that I wanted to ask you is that as you reflect again back upon the last 3 years, I think that you and I have both bore witness to lots of changes, right, in the hobby, in the comic book community, in the creators that are putting out content. What are some of the major changes? If you had to maybe identify one or two, maybe even three major changes that you have witnessed over the last 3 years, what would those changes be?
The first thing I would say is the content that's on YouTube is totally different than it was 3 years ago.
How so?
I would just say that there's a lot more content out there that is buy it now based and spec based than there ever was, or investment type thing. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't really know. But when I go back and I look 3 years ago and I see mainly just haul videos. Okay. Just like, hey, this is what I got, which I love those videos. And actually I really enjoy seeing what people have. But really, that's about the only scale. There's not really too many live streams. There's a couple here and there, but not that much.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, just a few months later, people start adding a little bit more flair to their repertoire or whatnot, or different ideas, and getting away from the haul videos. And that's one thing I asked myself. I said, how do I make videos without having to go spend money and buy comics?
I said the same thing.
Exactly.
I want to do videos, but I have to spend money to make the video. No, I don't want to do that. I need to do something else.
I literally I was talking to Tom outside on the phone, and we said the exact same thing. How do we make videos without having to go spend money to make videos? Because if you're spending more money to make the video, it doesn't make any sense,
And back then, to your point, everything by and large was a haul, let me show you what I just spent money on. And it's like, is there more than that? Can we make it be more than that? But go ahead. You've identified one great thing thus far.
Yeah. And that's the thing. There's so much more that can be said and done about comic books, more than just showing the comic books. There's talking about the comics. That's the thing that I like the most. I make my living talking about comics. I have the luxury to sit there and talk about them. And I don't need to buy them. I do buy them. Don't get me wrong. I read them. I read quite a few books and stuff like that. But I have the luxury of just talking about comics, and talking about comics. Like we just said, you hear the conversation at the comic shop. People love talking about comics, man. You'll go to a comic shop and you'll end up, I'm going there for 10 minutes. You see a friend, you're there for an hour talking about, Secret Wars #8. Is that the first appearance of the black costume? I don't know. Reggie said it was.
That is true. You can burn a solid hour or so easily. And if you hit multiple comic shops, you are away from home for half a day.
Yeah. And I would say a few other things, and I don't know, and maybe I missed out. So maybe I'm a little ignorant to this. But it seems right now that anything is something. And I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but anything in a book right now is something.
A shadow, a big toe.
Exactly. A different anything seems to be something right now. And I think that the information overload that is coming our way, which wasn't probably there, a few years ago, is just like, it gets wrapped up. And not everything has to be something. And I tell people that, I go, just because you might think it is, it might not be, to be totally honest. Maybe it just is what it is. It's not meant to be something special or whatnot. And I think there is an overload of people just speculating, on every single thing. And it's like the fear of missing out and all this stuff. And I think that's more of a, whether I want to call it a problem, I don't know about that, but I think that it's on everyone's self-conscious, when they go to a comic shop on Wednesdays now, more so than it probably has been, because I can't sit back 3 years ago and remember watching videos and feeling like, man, I got to go get that book before it's gone. Now. Yes.
Right. And I think there's probably a couple of reasons for that. To your point about the variety of the content that is out there, right? The spec videos, there are a lot of them. I make some of them, right? And so I am definitely contributing to that. But those are also the videos like CGC unboxing videos that people absolutely love, right? Yes. If you put up one of those videos, people will watch it. And I actually made that point earlier today. I put up a video yesterday about self-reflection, about taking the time to reflect upon one's collection and what you've accomplished. That video doesn't get as many views, but I do that video, back to your first point, about that is how I am trying to help the comic book community. Even though it doesn't get a lot of views, it's still a good video and it has to be made,
Yeah, there's definitely, I've always said, they're all pieces of a puzzle, and they all kind of go together. If you take one piece out, it doesn't work. If you take the speculation out of the market doesn't work. If you take the reader out of the market, it doesn't work.
Right.
So whether the reader or the speculator get along, it doesn't really matter. They need each other for this to be successful. And you know what? I've turned more into a reader, and over the last 3 years, I think that's one thing I've evolved more so. Because I really have gone back to just my pure joy of just reading a book on Wednesday and getting that book and doing that. And I think my channel kind of reflects that from the content maybe I used to do as opposed to the content I do now. And there's an audience for everybody. There's an audience for the top 10 list. There's an audience for the Go Collect ones that you do and stuff like that, they're there. They're always going to be there. And that's what makes it great, you know, because you're not pigeonholed into one area. I mean, you can be if that's what you want to do, and that's fine. But there's no reason why you just can't branch out and do just everything and anything you want, because there's many different avenues in this hobby that you can tackle. I mean, we come up with a different, subject every week for the coffee video, and it's not easy to do, but we do it.
Completely honest about that. It is not easy to do, right?
Yeah.
But you do it because there is a lot to talk about. There's a lot of layers to the onion that is the comic book community and the comic book hobby, you know?
I like that. The onion. That's right.
Brother, you can use an onion for just about anything. Just about anything. Same thing with an iceberg. You can just make up all kinds of stuff. And one of the questions that I have for you, and I don't know, again, what your answer would be about this, but you know, over time, I think we all kind of evolve, right? We start out in a certain place and then we evolve to something else, hopefully something better. Is there something that you're doing now that you wish that you had done sooner, now that you know the benefit or the outcome of that thing?
Yeah, everything, to be honest. I mean, it make it really simple. Me and you are the same age. If I was in my mid-20s, started doing this, the sky's the limit. You know, or even 10 years ago. If I would have started doing this 10 years ago, Reggie, think about that. Think about if we would have started doing this just a few years earlier and have all this time in our life to go ahead and do this. You know, I look at Tom, perfect age, man, in his mid-20s, whatever, when he started. He's got a whole lifetime ahead of himself to do this type of thing.
Yes.
And that's the one thing I kind of shoot myself in the foot. I'm like, man, if I would have just started this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit.
Yep.
You know, because my ideas come and go, you know, and they would have came back then and stuff like that, you know, and so it's just things that you think about. But, you know, I look at the stuff and I'm pretty proud of the things I put out on the channel as far as the content. And I think I've covered a lot of bases and stuff like that. There's nothing really, I sit back and say, oh, that was a mistake. Or, well, maybe the Neil Adams interview, but that was a whole other story. But for the most part, you know, every video I've ever done, I enjoy doing it, you know, and I had fun, you know, and stuff. Like I was just going back and I was watching when I had you on the channel, you know, the interview and stuff. Dude, we're cracking up laughing the whole time. I mean, I don't even know if we said 5 words. We just laughed for an hour.
It does, brother. It doesn't matter. If you're laughing and you're having a good time, everything else to some degree or another will take care of itself.
Yeah, I think that I feel pretty good about the ideas I have, and I think I've executed them pretty well, you know, and stuff like that. And you know, as far as like, I think I've gotten better. You know, I think I don't know about. Somebody asked me, is like, somebody gave me a hard time or whatnot a while back. I'm like, you know what? You've watched me get more confident. I go, that's what it is. I go, I'm not cocky. I'm confident. I've found confidence in myself that I didn't have before. And if you have a problem with me being more confident in myself, then take a hike. You know,
the question is, why is that?
Yeah.
Why is someone's confidence threatening to you? Is like part of the question, you know?
Yeah. And you know, we get all sorts of stuff like that all the time, don't we?
I mean, I'll tell you. I mean, I remember some of my early videos, man, where I was, you know, and the famous one is I mispronounced Galactus's name. And I mispronounced it because I had never even said it out loud before, because I was a shy kid that never said it out loud. Now I mispronounce something. Does it give me pause if I mess something up? It does, but I'm still like, I still have to move on and still give people a good show, regardless of whether I said the right thing or had a technical glitch or not. Keep moving on, you know?
I mispronounce everything, man. I mean, I still can't say the writers and artists' names right. I just keep on saying them.
Oh, I don't even try. I applaud you for even trying. I just skip over those things and just great writer, great artist. I just keep it moving.
Exactly. I've done that a few times. I'm like, I just look at it, I'm like, we'll just skip that one. We won't even say this one's brought to you by Boom Studios. I just go right over who wrote it.
Just keep it moving. No one knows it was a mistake if you just keep moving forward. You know, you just ignore the one comment where people's like, yeah, you said that incorrectly. Brandon's like, amen, Bueller. All right.
I think making mistakes are part of the charm. You know, the people see the realism in the videos and stuff and like, hey, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm gonna make a mistake. So I'm gonna say something wrong. I'm going to say this is the first appearance when it's not, and you're going to give me, crap about it and stuff like that. It just is what it is. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not perfect. That's one guy goes, what did he say to me? Oh, he watched one of my videos, and he literally he pointed out like 4 things that were wrong in the video. It's like a half-hour video, but he watched the whole thing, and all he said was, you got this wrong, you got this wrong, you got this wrong, you got this wrong. I said, what are you, my ex-wife? He wrote back, he's like, okay, I get it. I'm like, come on, man.
The thing I tell people all the time, I'm not perfect. I make lots of mistakes, and it's like, my goal is to make as few mistakes as possible, but mistakes happen, especially when you're a one-man show by and large, right? Everything you see from my channel is me. I respond to all the comments. I edit all the videos. I shoot all the footage. I don't have anybody else. It is just me. And so, hey, and I'm thankful because there are people out there, caring people, and you probably have the same thing around your channel that will send you that private message and be like, hey, I just want you to know this is jacked up. You might want to fix it. And I'm very appreciative for those people that keep me honest on that stuff because, sometimes I'm doing stuff late at night. I jack stuff up, and I'm thankful that people are forgiving when I mess stuff up.
Yeah, it happens.
it does indeed happen. So I was going to ask you a question about, mistakes, and I don't think I'm going to ask you that one, but I will ask you, what bothers you more? And I guess I am asking this question, but what bothers you more, the mistakes that you've made or the good ideas that you have yet to execute?
I procrastinate all the time, and I have ideas all the time. And I literally have ideas that are like a year old that I wanted to do, and there's no reason why I can't do it. I just don't do it. And it's just, it infuriates me sometimes. It's just me being lazy, I guess, but literally I've never ran out of ideas for videos. And that's the great thing, because I think a lot of people end up running out of ideas. And I think that's the thing that bothers me the most. That's like, I wanted to do a video about, it was like the top 20 comics you could buy a house with. And I literally have the thumbnail made from like a year and a half ago. The thumbnail's made, but I've never made the video. I actually made graphics for it and everything, and I've never made it. And I did all the research for it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and it was like, it was going to be a really fun video and stuff like that. And I never sat down and put it together. But yet I have a file on my computer that says comics to buy a house with. And it has all the comics, has the prices, has the graphics. I just haven't filmed it, and it's been there over a year.
Don't worry about it, brother. I got you covered. I'll go.
Yeah,
just send me the file.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoot the footage. Don't even worry about it. You can even send me the thumbnail. I'll just put my face right on top of yours. It'd be good. Don't worry about it.
But I sit there and I say, okay, I look at my thing and I'm like, Reggie has that thing to where hashtag takedown Bueller or whatever it is. People forgot about it years ago. But I'm like, Reggie at one time got within like 2,000 subscribers. And I was like, oh man, he's catching up. I was like, I better drop one of my big dog videos. I'm like, no, I'll be all right. And sure enough, like a couple weeks later, I'm like 5,000 subscribers above and stuff like that.
You're doing well. You're doing well. You give me something to aim for, my friend. You know what I'm saying? We all have to have dreams and aspirations, and mine is to surpass Bueller at some point. I mean, I don't know about you, but I remember there were people that I used to watch on before I started my own channel that I have passed them in the subscriber count. And that's not a thing of bragging or looking down upon those people. It's just a cool thing to say, I used to watch this guy and now I have essentially become that guy. I just think it's one of those cool things,
I see that too. I see that. And I kind of, that type of stuff like motivated me. Like I would look and I'd say, okay, here's someone who's, at this and that are a higher subscriber count to me. And I would actually like set a goal. It's like, hey, if can I hit 5,000 before he does? And it was just a personal thing. It was just a little motivator to get me kind of going. And there's no disrespect towards them or whatnot, just, if I can get there before then, just a feather in my cap, and I don't share this with anyone, it's not like I don't go on my channel, hey, we need to get to 5,000 before such and such. That's not what it's about.
It's about internal motivation.
Exactly. Yep. And, but there's been a few like that I've just looking at how can I get to that goal that's a goal I have. Can I get there before this guy? Can I make content that appeals to more people, that brings in more people? And it keeps you going. You know, you motivate me. Tom motivates me. Yeah. Robbie motivates me. You know, I watch these guys. I'm like, I really enjoy that comment, or that's a great idea, you know, and stuff like that. Or I watch some stuff. I'm like, that's a horrible idea. That's not going to work. And then I'm totally wrong, you know.
Sometimes you scratched off your own list because you probably had the same one.
Exactly. You know? And I have. I've looked at stuff and I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I see someone else do it. And I'm like, I see the results. I'm like, I ain't going to do that, you know. And I'm like, because I know that, you know, it's pretty much the same thing. Or I see people that will like do something similar to what I have done. Okay. And they're like, oh, and it's very similar. And I'm like, well, there's a reason I don't do it anymore. Yeah. You know, to be honest. But so I mean, go for it. You know, go and try and see what happens. And then they realize why that I stopped doing it. You know, because you know I don't like putting time in the stuff that people don't enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just sit there and put hours or days into something that only not very many people enjoy, when there's something else I can do that takes less time and a lot more people enjoy it. Right. So that makes sense. You know, wouldn't you do that? You know, so that's kind of how I look at it.
Because none of this stuff is easy, brother. None of this stuff is, I had somebody say to me earlier today, I wish people would make more content so that they understood how much time and energy you actually put into making your content. And I was like, that's actually a good point, you know, but I don't need any more competition. So I was like, that's not a good don't promote that idea. But as we get ready to wrap up here, brother, and again, I definitely want to thank you for your time. You know, is there anything that's on the horizon for Bueller? Anything big that is on the horizon? What's the next big adventure that you might be going on?
The next big adventure is I'm closing up shop. I'm actually going to be selling my house, and as of my goal is that next year, my 4-year anniversary, is to kind of hit the road, and I want to live a mobile lifestyle and film my videos on the road. And
are you serious?
I'm not joking. This is, and people who watch my stuff know this, but my goal is my family has a lot of property, so I'm not really worried about it. But this is all being set up, and I'm gonna, because I love to travel. And I've always wanted to travel, and I've always wanted to be able to make a living as I travel. And that's the main thing. It's like, I can travel, but I'm not gonna be able to do it for long because I just, you know, I'm not making any money. To where I can do this on the road. I can make a preview video on the road. I can do content on the road.
That's all right.
And this is, you know, giving me the opportunity to do that. So my 4-year anniversary, that is my goal. I'm going to go on the road. I'm selling my house. I'm buying it's a bus, and me and my sister are doing tear down and build inside of it and stuff like that, you know, to make it really cool. And it's going to be called the Bueller bus. You know, when I say that out loud, it's a little weird, but you know what are you going to do? But
are you going to wrap it? Are you going to get it wrapped so it's like the Bueller bus on the side?
It's going to look like a NASCAR, man, because I'll have every dang sponsor in the world on that thing, you know.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
But and I want to travel. I want to go to every comic shop in America. I want to go to you know, if I'm in, you know, San Antonio, and if there's a viewer there in San Antonio, I want to go say hello and say, you know, hey, let me show your collection off, or something like that, you know.
That's all right.
And just do something fun and incorporate my love of travel to comics and do something a little different. And I mean, I told Tom about this idea a while ago. He's like, man, that's awesome. He goes, I'd love to do something like that. And I go, well, it's just when you get to a point in your life when you can, and that's the thing. When you can do it, that's when you should do it. It's the times when you can't, you really have to, you know, if you're a father with young children and stuff like that, and you're not going to be able to do this. You know, mine are old. They're out of the house. I'm by myself. I don't have a lady friend that's like, you're not going to do that, you know. So I'm looking forward to it, and that's right. My family is all on board, and you know, I have plenty of places to stay and go, and God, I'm just really looking forward. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to make this happen. You know, a lot of finances and a lot of legal things I got to get taken care of. But once I'm ready to go, that like the goal is the next year, the 4-year anniversary is to hit. I'm going to Arizona in February. I'm not going to Minnesota or nothing like that.
Hey,
You know,
brother, I respect that. I respect that. But yeah, I did again. You know, you ask these questions, and you never quite know what's going to come out. You know, so I too am going to be hitting the road. We're actually going to be relocating to North Carolina, I believe, at the mid-year point. So we're definitely excited about that.
cool.
I will not be on a bus, a Bueller bus or bus of any kind. That is, I don't do that.
I'm gonna come by your house next year,
brother. I would be behind the gate. I'll be behind the gate, my friend. You can try to roll up. But you should come on down, man. You should come on down. It's North Carolina is not crazy cold around this time. You know, I was there this weekend. It was about 35 degrees, which isn't terrible. But again, Bueller, I want to thank you, brother. Happy 3-year anniversary to you. I am looking forward to catching your live stream or whatever it is that you choose to do on your 4th anniversary from the Bueller bus somewhere, possibly in North Carolina or Arizona in the continental United States.
Yeah, it should. It'll be interesting. I mean, it'll be PG. It'll be a good time or whatnot. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I just want to say thank you, Reggie, for having me on. You know, we go back almost from the very, I mean, I think we were friends within like the first week we started doing this.
Yep.
And yeah, even though, you know, this is the first time I'm on your channel and it looks awesome. So I appreciate you having me on here. You know, you and I have been friends for a long time. Our friendship goes beyond comic books. We talk about other stuff. And, you know, it's really nice to know that here we are 3 years later, we're still doing something that we really enjoy doing, and we're still good friends, and we still get to talk about this great thing, and we get to share the success that we've seen doing this. And because at the very beginning, we had no idea. We were just like, we'll see how it goes. Oh, how'd your video? Oh man, I got 100 views today. Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, it is a wonderful thing. It really is, man. And I think that's one of the things that I reminded people of when Tom was on, was that a lot of us talk behind the scenes. You may not see us on camera with one another, but we do talk behind the scenes often and send text messages like, dude, what just happened? What happened with this? Did you experience that? And to me, it's nice to know that you can reach out to somebody that is going through something similar, you know, on a bigger scale, but someone similar that can kind of help out, you know?
Yeah, I saw the thing you had Tom on there, and you had said to him, you know, he's like, you know, Tom called me up and asked me to be on one of his shows. And, you know, when Tom calls, you don't say no. I say no to Tom all the time. All the time. I was like, he called me up. He's like, hey, I want to do a thing on this book of Mercy. He goes, what do you want to do? I go, no, dude, that book sucks.
But you know, Tom, you knew Tom before I knew Tom, because you gave me the introduction, and that's what opened the door. So I still feel obligated to say yes to Tom.
Yeah.
Maybe in year 4, I'll be like, nah, I'm not doing that.
I'm like, oh, I ain't doing that.
Hey, Bueller, I realized like towards the end here, I always forget to put people's like stuff on the screen. I make it and then I forget to put it up. I'm pretty sure that everybody knows where you're located on the various social medias. But do you want to go ahead and give a shout out for your channel and your YouTube and all that other good stuff?
Sure. You know, my channel is Comics with Bueller. You know what? If you just type in comics space on YouTube, it pops right up. It's the first one. I work really hard to get that up there, to be totally honest. So it's really easy to find. And you know what? We do a lot of great content. We usually do 3 to 4 videos a week. Our Monday video is the Coffee and Comics video. That seems to be the fan favorite, what we do. I have a top 10 video on Tuesdays, and then my new release video is on Wednesdays, and that shows all the books for the next week, so you can catch that out. But we also have a bunch of other stuff, so if you're not familiar with the Comics with Bueller channel, go check it out. You might like it. You probably, I don't know, you might not. You know, I mean, it's your choice. I do end up eating chalupas every now and then and drinking coffee. It's the chalupa thing is new, but the coffee thing has always been there. And as far as the other social media stuff, I can't stand Facebook, so I never look at that. And Instagram, I don't know how to work it until my kids show me how to, so it's not really a thing. But if you want to find me on Instagram, you can do that, but I don't really do stuff on there, but that's all right. But yeah, there you go. That's my stuff. That's, you know, we're rocking and rolling, and you know, Regie Collects, he's rocking and rolling. What's your name again? Regie Collects. You changed it again. First it was the IFBB Pro Reggie, and then it was Regie Collects, and it was like, man, I better change it up to Regie Collects Comics. So here we go. Here's the show. Regie Collects Comics with Bueller coming on a weekly basis.
When I threw the word comic up in my thing, and that had a huge impact, because I can tell you I started getting a lot more subscribers as a result of making that tweak, because you're constantly asking yourself, what can I do different? What is the tweak that I need to make? And throwing comics in there changed a lot. It really did.
I wouldn't know. Mine's been there from the very beginning.
Yeah, thanks, Bueller. Some of us are slower learners than others, okay, my friend? Maybe it's all the coffee. Maybe it's all the coffee you drink that you're so speedy, I don't know. But anyway, I do want to thank you, my friend. I appreciate you coming on and spending a little bit of time with me. I told you it would be like 15 to 20 minutes. I think we are like at 45. It is what it is, people. I had a good time chatting with you.
Awesome,
and
man.
I will follow up with you soon, brother.
All right. Thank you, Reggie. Everyone, take care.
Absolutely love that guy. Huge shout out to him. I definitely appreciate him swinging by and spending a little bit of time with me. Again, I went a little bit longer with the discussion with Bueller. And I don't want to stretch the show out too much longer going through some of the other things that I went through, because I want to respect people's time. And I know there are folks that are on the other coast that are it's getting pretty late over there. So what I do want to do is to give you guys an opportunity to add a really cool comic to your collection. And it is this book right here from my friends over at Go Collect. They put me in a position every single week to be able to give away a really cool slab, value somewhere between $150 and $200. And this week it is Yusiago Yojimbo. I said it wrong. It is what it is. Yojimbo. This is a issue number 10, a 9.6 with white pages. And this book could be yours simply for watching this video right here. And in a moment, I'm going to give you a phrase, and all you do is head over to the community tab. Once there, you find a post where I'm actually talking about Yojimbo. You plug it in, along with two other pieces of information that are relevant to you, and then you are in the running. And then you tune in to the Ready, Set, Go preview show on Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time to find out if you are the winner. And the phrase for this week is right here. It is Brett Hess, in honor of my subscriber, Brett Hess, who has secured his first cover variant. I'm going to make him the phrase for the week. Brett Hess is the Go Collect phrase for this week. Again, plug that into the community tab, and you are in the running from that point. All right. So let me do, I will do a little quick thing here real quick, just because it is, I can squeeze this stuff in. I want to give you guys a preview over some things that are going to be coming out at some point here. I want to say on March 30th. On March 30th, there are going to be a couple of comics that are going to be dropping that are basically prequels to the Godzilla versus King Kong movie that is going to be dropping on the 31st. Because we talked about Godzilla a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to make sure I let you guys know that Legendary Comics is going to be publishing two prequels on March 30th, the day before the Godzilla versus King Kong movie actually drops. And one of them is this one right here. It's a prequel that is actually going to be coming out, featuring a pretty unique story, in that they are telling the story Godzilla Dominion directly from Godzilla's point of view. And I guess they are taking personification to the whole next level by telling the story from Godzilla's point of view versus, I guess, telling the story from humans' point of view, talking about their observations of Godzilla. So that'll be really interesting. And then Kingdom Kong is the other prequel that will be dropping. And this is a sequel to Skull Island, but it is a prequel to the Godzilla versus King Kong movie. These two are dropping again on March 30th. So I wanted you guys to be aware of that. And then the very last thing that I wanted to give you guys a shout out on is something that I found on geekositymag.com. See if I can get this thing loaded up. According to Mikey Sutton, who has spoken to some people inside of Marvel Studios, he and they are basically reporting that the Punisher skull logo will not be removed when the MCU actually pulls in the Punisher. Basically, Mikey's saying that he had some conversations with some folks over at Disney, and they are basically saying they have no plans whatsoever on removing it from the character despite some of the outrage that has actually been heard. And Mikey does a pretty good job of kind of overviewing some of the data and, you know, some happenings with the Punisher skull logo. And if you haven't seen my video on this topic, you definitely want to check that out. But again, shout out to geekositymag.com for providing us with a little bit of insight into what was happening with the Punisher logo. All right. With that said, I'm going to wrap this live stream up. I want to thank all of you for taking some time to join me for this live stream. I hope that you guys enjoyed that discussion with Comics with Bueller. Shout out to all the people that dropped super chats over the course of the live stream. I apologize for not highlighting those at the time, but I was trying to focus on our guest. But I am very much appreciative of the super chats that you guys dropped, and I'm also appreciative of everybody that has remained here in the chat. If you guys haven't yet had an opportunity to hit that subscribe button, I definitely want to encourage you to do that. And also give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation, because it is good for the algorithm. And if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.